Welcome to the Explainer. You know, for most of human history, the universe was this place filled with gods and monsters. But what if it isn't? What if it's actually a machine? A machine governed by laws that we can actually understand. Today, we are going to trace the incredible story of how our picture of the universe has evolved, all the way from a flat plate on a turtle's back to the explosive beginning of time itself.
Okay, let's dive into this with a famous story. Picture a well-known scientist. Some people say it was Bertrand Russell, and he's giving a big public lecture on astronomy. He's describing how the Earth orbits the Sun and how our Sun orbits the center of this huge galaxy we call the Milky Way.
So at the end of the lecture, this woman stands up and offers a very different theory. And when the scientist, trying to be clever, asks what the tortoise is standing on, she has her answer ready to go. It's a great story, right? It perfectly captures this old way of thinking that avoids needing a beginning. But for the rest of us, it raises a really big question.
I mean, what do we really know about the universe? And how on earth do we know it? This explainer is the story of how we learn to ask better questions, how we replace those simple myths with models we built on observation and hard evidence. It's really the story of our ongoing quest for a complete picture of the universe we live in.
So where do we even begin? Well, our journey starts over 2,000 years ago with the ancient Greeks. Now, they were among the first to really start moving beyond myths, to apply logic to the heavens and to search for rational explanations for all the patterns they were seeing up in the night sky.
And get this, as far back as 340 BC, the philosopher Aristotle, in his book On the Heavens, used these simple, elegant observations to prove that the Earth was a sphere. He didn't need any complex instruments, just careful looking and clear thinking. It's a perfect example of that first crucial step in science. You have to test your ideas against reality.
So Aristotle's idea of a spherical Earth got combined with this other, really intuitive belief that, of course, we were the center of everything. This geocentric model was perfected by the astronomer Ptolemy. And, it was surprisingly accurate for predicting where the planets would be, but it needed these incredibly complicated orbits to work, and it had some pretty noticeable flaws.
And then, in 1514, a Polish priest named Nicolaus Copernicus comes along and suggests a radically simpler idea. What if the sun was at the center? This heliocentric model was so much more elegant, but it just flew in the face of centuries of religious and philosophical belief. So, as you can probably guess, it wasn't exactly taken seriously at first.
It took almost 100 years for this revolution to really catch fire. Galileo's telescope gave us the first direct observational proof against that old model. At the same time, Johannes Kepler's incredible calculations showed that planets move in ellipses, not perfect circles, which finally made the predictions match what we were actually seeing. But the biggest question of all was still just hanging there. Why?
Well, the answer came from Sir Isaac Newton. He proposed this breathtakingly simple idea. The exact same force that makes an apple fall to the ground is also what holds the moon in orbit around the Earth and the planets in their orbits around the sun. All of a sudden, the universe wasn't this mystical, unknowable place anymore. It was a huge, predictable clockwork machine, all governed by one single universal law of gravity.
Newton's universe was a total triumph. I mean, for over 200 years, it just seemed complete. But it was built on this hidden assumption that was about to be completely shattered. The idea that space was just a fixed absolute stage, and time was this universal clock, ticking away at the exact same rate for everyone everywhere.
The first crack appeared with the nature of light itself. Back in the 1860s, James Clerk Maxwell's theories predicted that light travels at a specific fixed speed. But in Newton's world, that just didn't make sense. A speed has to be relative to something. But experiments showed something completely baffling. The speed of light was the same for everyone, no matter how fast they were moving. This was a major puzzle.
Then, in 1905, a young patent clerk named Albert Einstein comes up with this revolutionary solution. He argued that to make any sense of the constant speed of light, we had to just throw out the idea of absolute time. Space and time, he said, are not separate things. They're woven together into a single, dynamic, four-dimensional fabric he called space-time.
10 years later, Einstein took this idea even further with his general theory of relativity. He made this incredible suggestion that gravity isn't a force that's pulling objects across space. No. Instead, gravity is the shape of space-time itself. Mass and energy actually warp space-time, and that curvature tells other objects how to move, kind of like how a bowling ball on a trampoline directs the path of a little marble rolling by.
So in Einstein's universe, massive objects like our sun are literally bending the fabric of spacetime around them. Planets like Earth aren't being pulled by the sun, they're just following the straightest possible path they can through that curved space. This new understanding of spacetime also changes how we think about cause and effect. This light cone you see here shows all the possible futures and pasts for a single event. Since nothing can go faster than light, only events inside this cone can affect or be affected by what's happening right now.
Einstein's general relativity gave us a completely new set of rules for the universe. It was a profound shift in our thinking, and armed with this powerful new theory, astronomers could finally start to tackle the biggest question of all: where did the universe itself even come from?
Well, the first step was figuring out our actual place in all of this. In 1924, the astronomer Edwin Hubble proved that all those fuzzy little smudges people saw in telescopes, they weren't just clouds inside our own galaxy. No, they were entire island universes, other galaxies just like our own, separated by these unimaginable voids of empty space. Our sense of scale was just completely rewritten, almost overnight.
Then, in 1929, while he was studying the light from these distant galaxies, Hubble noticed something very strange. The patterns in their light were all shifted towards the red end of the spectrum. This is what we call redshift. And it's basically the cosmic version of the Doppler effect. You know, like how an ambulance siren sounds lower as it moves away from you? For light, moving away stretches out the light waves, which makes them appear redder.
Hubble found this clear and totally shocking pattern. The farther away a galaxy was, the bigger its redshift was, which meant the faster it was moving away from us. The conclusion was inescapable, and it changed the world. The universe wasn't this static, unchanging, clockwork machine from Newton's time. It was dynamic, and it was expanding.
Now, this doesn't mean we're at the center of some kind of great explosion. A much better way to think about it is to imagine you've painted a bunch of spots on a balloon, and then you start to inflate it. From the perspective of any one of those spots, all the other spots seem to be moving away. The universe has no center. The very fabric of space-time itself is stretching, and it's carrying all the galaxies along for the ride.
So if the universe is expanding now, it must have been smaller and denser and hotter in the past. And this simple but really profound realization led scientists to wonder about its ultimate fate. Is gravity eventually going to stop the expansion and pull everything back together in a big crunch? Or is the universe just going to expand forever, getting colder and emptier as it goes?
The discovery of the expanding universe completely rewrote our cosmic origin story. Because if you run the clock backwards from today's expanding universe, all of space and all of time converges on one single extraordinary moment in the distant past. All the evidence we have points to a single moment, roughly 13.8 billion years ago, when the entire observable universe was concentrated into a single point of unimaginable density and heat. This moment, which we call the Big Bang, wasn't an explosion in space. It was the very beginning of space and of time itself. So where does all this leave us today? Well, we have two incredibly successful theories. General relativity perfectly describes the large-scale universe of gravity and galaxies, and quantum mechanics perfectly describes the bizarre, probabilistic world of the very, very small. The problem? They're fundamentally incompatible. They just don't work together. So the ultimate goal of modern physics, our great unfinished quest, is to find one single, elegant, unified theory that can describe the entire universe, from the Big Bang all the way to today.
We've journeyed from a world on a tortoise's back to a universe born from a single point in the Big Bang. And every single step has revealed a universe that is stranger and more wonderful than we could have ever imagined. Our picture is more detailed than it's ever been, but the story is far from over. What new revolutions in thinking are waiting for us? Will we ever really have a complete picture? The only thing we know for sure is that as long as we keep asking questions, the quest will continue.